Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Mr. Outlaw here, and I'm here today to talk to you about the new Aspire line from Smokeless Image. And specifically in this video, I'm going to talk about the new Aspire VV Nova that they carry. And then in a different video, I will get into the rest of the Aspire line. And the main reason that I'm going to break them up into two different videos is because the Aspire VV Nova from Smokeless Image uses a slightly different head than the rest of their Aspire line. And that's because when they had to have it fit for the 808 connection, they had to change the head a little bit. The other reason is because the Aspire VV Nova with Smokeless Image is cross-compatible with the 510 Aspires that are out there. So if you have Ego batteries and you have Provaris and different units like that, and you're also using the Aspire over there, the heads are the same. So you can buy one head and use it in your Aspire VV Nova from Smokeless Image, or you can use it in your CE5 on your Ego Twist battery. So that's a really nice feature. The other thing that's nice about it is the fact that if you have the old VV Novas, the original top coil with all the wicks hanging down, all of the different tanks and stuff are cross-compatible with the Smokeless Image Aspire VV Nova. But other than that, there's really not a lot of difference between the different Aspire line products that Smokeless Image has come out with. They're all 2.1 ohm dual bottom coil, and they all give you the same vape. It just comes down to the aesthetics of the clearomizer you want to use, as well as the amount of liquid you want to carry. Anywhere between 1.5 all the way up to the VV Nova, which is what I personally like, at 3.5. But I will say that Smokeless Image knocked it out of the park, bringing this line to their line of products. This is a line that people across the vaping community are loving, and if you've seen some of the reviews from other people, you'll see that they're just offer an incredible vape, a tremendous amount of vapor. They're very easy to use. I absolutely love bottom coil. I've never really liked top coil things. I don't ever want to have to deal with the hanging down of the wicks and having to turn things up and down like this so that to keep the wick soaked. I've always really liked that, all the way from the original CE3s. And these just completely change the way you want to vape. I love this line. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into this video and we're going to talk about the differences between this and the 510 and why I really think Smokeless Image knocked it out of the park with the way they designed it to fit on their batteries. We'll also talk about how to fill it and how to change the heads. So let's actually get into the Aspire VV Nova from Smokeless Image. First of all, when you get it, it does come in this nice little box, which I know it's a silly thing, but I really like the little box. I think it's a little bit classier than just sending a cellophane wrap clearomizer. Now when you open it up, it does come like this. And here is your VV Nova, and they have one additional head that they give you with it, which is nice, so you only have to, you're already starting off the bat with two heads. I've been using it since it first came out for a couple weeks now, and I haven't had to change my head. They really seem to be lasting a decent amount of time. I haven't had any leaks with it or anything like that. Now, like I did say earlier in the video, there is a slight difference in the head between the VV Nova and the rest of the Aspire line, and I just wanted to give you an idea and show you the difference here. Okay, so this is the head from the VV Nova, and this is the head from the rest of the Aspire line, and you can see that the actual bottom piece right up here up on the top is slightly longer on the VV Nova. But again, the VV Nova head is the same head that you would use if you have any Aspire product from 510 connection devices. So that's a nice thing about it. Now when you do take this out of the package, it does look big. And like I said, even though it does use a different head, I just wanted to give you an idea if you were curious for the difference between the full-size VV Nova and then this one here is the Mini. They're both the same height. They both sit on your device the same. The Mini is just a little bit thinner. I believe this one holds 2.0 milliliters and this one holds 3.5. Now, when you actually screw it onto your battery, this is what I'm talking about with I love the way Smokeless Image has designed the product. They have put down here on the bottom a nice little flange to cover the threads, and it gives a nice little design on your battery. Now, just to give you an idea, here's a 510 connection Aspire. on an Ego Twist, and you can see the difference. See how when you put this on, you're still seeing that stem, and you'd have to really go by, they have like these little cones to cover up your threads. Well, Smokeless Images kind of actually put them in there for you, and that's an incredible design. I love the way they put that on there and made it look really good. Now, like I said earlier in the video, the nice thing about the VV Nova line is it's cross-compatible with both your 510 connection VV Novas from Aspire, as well as your original VV Nova tanks. And what I mean by that is, when you take this apart and take off your head, these little tanks here, and take off the base obviously, okay, these little tanks here are replaceable. And there's a lot of different vendors around that sell them. And this is an old VV Nova tank. And you can see they're both the same height, they're both the same width. And you can actually use this tank on the Smokeless Image Aspire. And, you know, so if you prefer something metal, and I know there's some glass ones out there, they all work the same. Okay. Now, like I said, they are cross-compatible with the 510 connection ones. So, like, for example, here I have an actual, they don't call it an Aspire. This is supposed to be an actual VV Nova, but it's the same thing. You can even see it's the same box as the Smokeless Image. When you take it out, the only difference is this company actually sold me with 2 heads, but it's the same product. And then this here is an actual Aspire that I got from Alt Smoke for 510 connection. And again, you can see it's the same thing. And it does come with a head. I just already took the head out. And they're all cross-compatible. They all use the same head. So if you're somebody like me and you have a few 510 devices, but you still use all your Smokeless Image, which I pretty much only use my Smokeless Image and have the other ones sitting in a drawer. Ever since Smokeless Image came out with the Twist, I don't find a reason to use my other ones. But I wanted to compare them. They're all cross-compatible, so that's a nice thing. So let's take this back apart. Let's get into how to fill it, and also how to change the heads. Okay. As with any of the dual bottom coils or any bottom coil clearomizer that's out there, they do need to be filled upside down. So let's get into actually how to fill these. So when you take your clearomizer, you're going to turn it upside down and just screw off the bottom. Okay, and this is what you're going to be left with. If you look inside, you're going to see a stem. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to tilt it and run it down the side, and you don't obviously want to get any e-liquid down in the middle of that stem, because that's your air tube. On the other side, you have your actual piece that's threaded onto your battery, as well as the replacement head. And while we have this apart, we'll get into how to change the head. Changing the head is very simple. You're just simply going to take this and you're going to grab it and unscrew it. Okay? And it just comes off. And when you're ready, you just take this and you can throw it away, or you could try to clean it. They're not very easy to clean, because there's a little, if you can see inside there, there's a little silicone thing. And what happens is that little silicone piece actually grabs on that stem in there and makes a seal so that you don't have any leaking. What you could do, and what I'm going to attempt to do, is to just kind of throw it into a little cup of water with a Polydent little dissolving piece, and that's usually how I clean things. Instead of soaking them in alcohol, I just use like little Polydent tabs. It seems to clean up the wicks and clean up the coils a little bit. But remember, these are made to be disposable, so once you're done with it, 2-3 weeks, however long you're going to, depending on how long you vape and how much you vape, just toss it and put in a new head. And then all you're going to do is take your new head, and you just, right up in here in the middle, you just screw it in. Make sure you get it in there nice and tight, because you do have to have a good seal, otherwise you're going to have some leaking. So like I said, when you fill it, I'm going to take probably one of my favorite liquid products, which is the Sublime. Just take it and just fill it up. Now, one thing you will notice is that you cannot fill this all the way. Okay, the stem doesn't come up to the top. Okay, so if you look in there, there are markings on the actual clearomizer. They're hard to see because this is a green one. But you fill it up to the top of that stem. You don't want to get it higher than the stem, otherwise it's all going to come down there. Then all you're going to do is, while you have it upside down, screw the base back on. And there is a silicone ring on that base, so make sure you get it in there tight. turn it upside down, and you're good to go. And like I said, the one drawback is, like I said, you really can't fill it up all the way, but you really can't see that marking on there. But it is at 3.5 milliliters. So that's how much it carries. Once you're ready to go, just screw it onto your battery. I'm using a twist here. And you're good to go. Now, if you've been vaping pretty much only smokeless image products and using either the spinner or any of the other products, you're used to probably being somewhere around 3.8 ohms. I will tell you that these give you a tremendous amount of vapor and a lot more flavor. So I have found that I'm vaping at a much lower voltage than I'm used to. I was usually going anywhere between 3.8 and 4.3 volts on my spinners, and I'm using these somewhere around 3.4, 3.5. But just to give you an idea of the differences here, once you do fill it up, you do kind of want to let it sit for a couple of seconds or give it a couple of like draws without pressing the button to kind of get the e-liquid into those wicks. So we'll just give it a couple like primer puffs, and then we'll go ahead and try it. Now that's a lot of vapor, and I have this spinner turned all the way down to 3.3. So just to give you an idea, we'll turn it all the way up to like, say about 3.8. Like I said, it gives you plumes of vapor, and the flavors are intense because there's 2 coils in there. You're taking double the coils, and it's really turning it up. Now, again, if I turn it up to 4.3, we'll take the same length of vape. See, I mean, and that is where I was pretty much always at before with my regular T3s. And once again, we're going to turn it all the way up to 4.8, which I never vape this high. But just to give you an idea of the amount of vapor you're going to get when you turn it up like that. Okay, much warmer vape, obviously. I suggest starting it down, and then you dial it up until you find the flavor you want, the amount of vapor you want, and the temperature that you want. Like I said, I pretty much do stay around 3.8. But I'm finding that I'm actually turning these down a little bit. Now, do remember, these are dual bottom coil. They are 2.1 ohms, which you're used to having probably 2.6 to 2.8 ohms on your smokeless image devices. So they will run your battery down a little bit more, but it's worth the trade-off. I'm finding actually that my batteries are lasting a little bit longer because I'm vaping at a lower voltage than I was usually doing before. I really love this product line. They've really done a great job with this line. And just to give you an idea, you can use them on your original smokeless image batteries. You don't have to use them on a spinner. I like using them on a spinner because I like being able to dial my voltage up and down. But just to show you, they will work on your regular batteries. It's a great product. Also, the nice thing about these is if you don't like these little black heads, they are changeable with any drip tip. So if you want one of these little flexible drip tips, you just get one of those, put it in there, you can flex it around, or a metal drip tip, however you like it. Great product. I can't say enough about these. It's pretty much, to me, solidified smokeless image in the fact that they really are always trying to bring new products. You know, when I first started with them, they swore they would never get the spinner. They said they were going to be a simple company for, you know, brand new vapors, and that's where they were going to stay. And they really have seen that, you know, we as vapors really love the company of smokeless image, but we want to be able to have some of the better products. We want to have some of the bigger tanks and the better batteries. And they have done that. They've listened to us and they've gone in. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on my spinner. Okay. And I'll leave this silly little drip tip on there. But again, you know, like I said, I've got this here probably about 3.4, 3.5. And just to give you a good inhale and show you how much vapor you're going to get. You know, again, I'm using the Sublime, so it's they call it one of their menthol type flavors. It gives you a nice hit. I get a lot of throat hit with it. I get a lot of vapor. I get a tremendous amount of flavor, and it really just increases the level of your vape to a different area, different stratosphere where you were with even their T3s and some of their other products. Now, as far as cleaning these, once you're done with it, again, if you want to change flavors, all you really need to do is take it out, rinse it in a little bit of water, or like I do, I just take everything, I throw it in a cup with some polydent tabs. I just put one tab, let it soak. That cleans it all out, and then just go ahead, rinse it off with some water, change your flavor. Your first hit or two may have a hint of the old flavor, but it's just going to simply go away after the first couple hits, and you'll be able to get the new flavor. Now, one thing that's very important with these dual bottom coils, or with any kind of bottom coil, is you need to have a good airflow. If you have a tight draw on it, if it's too tight, what happens is you end up sucking too much e-liquid up into the head, and it's where you're going to start getting flooding and gurgling. So if you're noticing you're getting some gurgling as you vape, make sure that the little air holes that are on there, make sure that those holes are not plugged up, and also inside of your battery. Make sure that those holes, you know, up inside of your battery, there's a couple little holes on the top. Make sure that those holes aren't plugged up. You want to have a good airflow for any kind of bottom coil. The better the airflow you have, the better the vape you're going to get. You're going to get a lot more vapor than if you have a super tight draw. Again, I love this product line. They have really knocked it out of the park bringing this line. Now that's pretty much it for my video. Like I said, in another video I'm going to get into, I will talk about the rest of the Aspire line. But like I said, there really isn't a whole lot of difference in the quality of the vape, just the difference in the products. So, and I'll show you the different comparisons to the different sizes. But if you're interested in the VV Nova, if you like having a lot of e-liquid with you, don't want to have to bother taking a bunch of juice with you when you go out for the day. It doesn't look bad on this battery. It has a nice flange on it to kind of give you that nice transition, and it does have a tremendous amount of liquid in there and gives you a great vape. So that's it for this video today. If you like my video, make sure you hit a like on the bottom. Until next time, happy vaping.